Is it just me? Or do you have a folder on your computer called resources that's filled with amazing tools that every time you go there, you get overwhelmed and you close it really fast, even though you know that there's probably a couple in there that you could use in that very moment? My name's Andrea Sampson, and what we do here on this channel is we talk about all things thought leadership, communications, even a little bit of neurodiversity. And what we do is we try and decode the very things that are stopping us from being the successes that each of us are ready to be. I'm sure you already are a success. But in reality, you know you could be more. And how are you holding yourself back? And this is one of the tools that I think is going to help you. Because you see, we've got this great toolkit called the Storytelling Toolkit, and it's comprised of an idea framework, a story spine, and our talk canvas. And if you're new here, you might want to check out this very toolkit. But the thing that I know, because this happens to me, I have that very folder, resources, filled with amazing things that I have found. But when I go to that file, I'm like, God, I gotta get my mindset back to the moment that I downloaded it. So I thought it would be really helpful if I maybe could give you the 5-minute Coles notes on at least one of the frameworks. And the framework that I think is probably one that you're gonna use a lot, and that is the story spine. It's a great little tool that helps you to tell a story in 5 easy steps. And in fact, the great thing about the story spine is you can use it at the opening of a presentation. You can use it for a YouTube video. You can use it when you are at a cocktail reception talking to someone and wanting to regale them with a great story that everybody is going to be hanging on your every word. And because it's only 5 steps, it's really easy to remember. I'm going to give you a little bit of brain science along with the explanations. So buckle up, here we go. Let me give you the 5 steps first, and then I'm going to come back. The environment, the characters, the issue, conflict, or opportunity, the reason you're telling the story, the raising of the stakes. That's the tension point in the story. And number 5 is the outcome. So 5 steps, really, really easy. So let's start with number 1, the environment. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of brain science here. What we want is we want to start a story that creates an emotional connection with our audience. We want it to start that way because we want to engage the brain. And the brain likes to always be just slightly ahead of what is happening. So it is predicting what's going to come next. And it's associative. It remembers things by having associations. And the strongest associations are sensory in nature. Sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. These are ways in which we associate. So the environment gives you this great opportunity to start a story in a way that connects both associatively with that audience as well as creating a prediction of where you're going next. So the environment is the sense of place. Where's the story happening? Get yourself right into the moment that the story is happening. And in your mind's eye, look around. What are you seeing? Are you in a coffee shop and it's noisy and you can hear the espresso being made off into the corner and you smell that strong smell of coffee coming in? Meanwhile, you can hear the conversation of the couple who are having a bit of a tiff in the table next to you. You can smell the coffee. You can hear the couple arguing and the noise, the hubbub of the coffee sounds being made. That brings you into the story. Now, who's there with you? These are the characters. They have names and they have backstories. So are you there alone and the couple beside you and you've called them Joan and Jeff and you're making up a story about them? Or are you there with a friend who is meeting you and you haven't seen them for the last 20 years? And this is your friend Amanda, who you went to school with. You can see each time I'm giving you a character, I'm giving you a short backstory on them. We don't have to know everything about them, but what's the relationship to you? Who are they? And why are you telling us about them? Now, next is the issue, conflict, or opportunity. This is the reason you're telling the story. What is the thing that you want us to know? Now, many people, this is where they start. That's the biggest mistake you can make as a storyteller, because you've given away the most important thing before you've gotten us involved in the story. So starting with the environment and the characters allows you to build up to what is the issue that's happening. Maybe there's a conflict, or perhaps there's an opportunity. So in our little coffee shop and I'm going to go with Joan and Jeff who are having an argument, the issue, conflict, or opportunity, I'm going to make it an opportunity because I happen to be a therapist. And I'm listening to Joan and Jeff have a bit of a tiff about who's going to pay the bill. And maybe this is an opportunity for Joan and Jeff for me to intervene. Maybe that's overstepping, but we're just making up a story right now. So let's go with it. So there's the opportunity. But here's the thing. Any good story doesn't just have an issue, conflict, or opportunity, the reason you're telling the story. You're going to be a good storyteller. What you really want is to build tension. And this is what we call the raising of the stakes. It's that and then moment. So after you've given us that reason that you're telling us this story, you want to build tension. So, and then what happens? So, and then suddenly maybe somebody else walks into that coffee shop who Joan knows well, and suddenly Jeff becomes very jealous and we see a situation start to arise. And so that and then moment gives you as the storyteller a way to connect with the audience even more deeply, a way to get them emotionally connected with your story, wondering where is this going? What's going to happen next? How are Joan and Jeff going to be reconciled? And sometimes you can have many tension points because depending on how long the story is, depending on the complexity of it. The thing about building a tension point, if you are actually doing this at the beginning of a presentation, then that moment is the moment at which you would reveal your idea. Now that's another video. We're not going to go there, but what it does is it gives you that opportunity to create a memorable moment. Now, after we've done the tension point, then we go to the conclusion. What happened? How did it all come together? It is that moment where we bring the story to conclusion. And what we're doing in the conclusion of any story is we are allowing our audience to hear who's in that story, why we told the story, and ultimately how it resolved. So those are the 5 points of telling a story. Now, if you haven't downloaded our Storytelling Toolkit, it is in the description below. So go ahead and download it. And we're going to have some other videos that'll help you with the idea framework and the Talk Canvas narrative outlining tool that are also in that very framework. But make sure if you put it into your resources folder that you open it up, print out, or put it on your screen, the story spine, and just go along with the story I just told you. It's going to be really helpful. If this has been helpful for you, make sure you like and subscribe so that you get more videos just like this. And feel free to share this with anyone you think might find this helpful. I can't wait to see you on my next video. Check out this one.